Still with me? You are now really the kings of outputting data and listening to events. With that, we got a lot of things covered you will use a lot in your day-to-day applications. Listening to user input and outputting transformed data or whatever data really is a core task you'll, have in all your applications, and which really makes up most of your applications, at least when it comes to this front-end connection, so to rendering it in the browser. But there is one other piece you will also use a lot, and that is changing the styling, attaching CSS classes. Look at this example on the right here. I got 3 divs here, which are gray blocks by default because I set up this demo CSS class. No Vue.js code involved here at all. Yes, I have set up this element connection, but I'm not doing anything there, as you can clearly tell. Now, it would be interesting to see how we can attach classes to these divs. So let's quickly create 3 new CSS classes. A red class, which will set the background color to, you guessed it, red. And then copying this class, a green class, which does the same with, surprisingly green. And then the blue class, which does the same with blue. So now we get 3 new CSS classes here, which we can use in our application. Now, of course, I could attach it like that, but that would be pretty boring, right? Let's instead see what Vue.js can do for us. Let's start simple and say I want to attach this red block only if I click on this element and detach it if I click again. To be able to, show this, I'll add my data property to the Vue instance, which is hooked up to this code, which has this as a template. And here I will set up a new property. I'll name it attach red. And initially I'll set it to false to say, no, I don't want to attach it initially. Upon clicking on it, I want to set attach red to, what it currently is not. So to the opposite. With this exclamation mark, I'm basically switching it from true to false and the other way around. Now, this is nice. I'll just split this up over multiple lines so that it's easier to read, but that alone won't do anything as of now. In order to conditionally attach a CSS class, I need to bind to the class property here, and I can do this with :class. Notice that it doesn't matter that I already attached class here with the demo. With :class, I'm using Vue.js syntax, and I'm not reusing the class attribute here. Yes, I'm binding to it, but behind the scenes, Vue.js will merge this all into one class object. So here, I need to pass a JavaScript object as an argument. This is just what Vue.js expects here. And this object should be which CSS class as a key should I attach, and as a value, should I attach it or not? So true or false. Now here, I clearly want to attach the red CSS class, so red like this. You could also enclose it in single quotation marks, and you would need to do this if your class contains a special character like a dash, but since it doesn't here, I don't have to. And then the condition will be attach red, which is false initially, but could be true. If I now hit Control Enter, you see I can now turn on and off this red class here due to this single code, this single line of code here, where I set up my red class as a key here, referring to this CSS property, and connect it to attach red, which is true or false, and switch constantly by clicking on this div. Of course, I could now copy that and also add it to another div. And if I now save this, now both are of course switched on and off because they share the same property, attach red, which is the one, deciding on whether it should be attached or not.